This video concerns people who are in their 20s and in their 30s. When you are in your 20s, you have to know these things that I'm going to talk about. I hope you subscribe to this channel if you are new and put a like. In your 20s and your 30s, you have to be aware that you are not in competition with anyone. In your 20s and in your 30s, you have to be aware that life is not a race. Life is not a competition, because there are people who are going to accomplish some things in their early 20s or their late 20s, and others are going to do it in their 30s and even in their 40s. For example, there are people who are going to buy cars in their 20s and others will make it in their 30s. There are people who are going to get married in their 20s and others are going to do it in their 30s. There are people who are going to be financially grounded in their 20s and others are going to make it in their 30s or in their 40s. And this should capture your mind that you are not in competition with anyone in your life, especially when you are in your 20s and your 30s. You have to be aware of this. You are not in competition with anyone. This person can be successful right now, but for me it might take years, it might even take years or whatsoever. You have to be aware of that. And also in your 20s and in your 30s, especially your late 20s, and your 30s, you have to take your decision upon your will. You have to make the decisions upon your will. You have to make decisions based on what you want and things that you want to accomplish in future. Especially in your 20s and your 30s, you have to make your own decisions and be ready to face the negative consequences of those decisions that you implement. Yeah, because like yesterday I have a friend, he's in his 30s. It's not a young man, but he was to marry a certain lady, but the mother came in and influenced his decision and said, I don't want this girl. that was that was pathetic. Yeah, like in your late 20s, especially, and your 30s, you have to make your decisions on your own and be ready to face the negative consequences of those decisions. Very important. I can't say I want to buy this in my 30s or in my late 20s. Someone will come and influence me. No, don't do this, do that. It doesn't work that way. You have to take your decisions in your 20s and your in your 20s and your 30s. And also in your 20s and your 30s, especially people in their early 30s and their early 20s, you have to be aware that you go to school to work, regardless of the level of education that you have accomplished. Put in mind that you go to school to work. You go to campus to work at the end of the day. Even if you have a diploma, know that with that diploma, you are able to secure a job. Know that with a degree that you have, you can have a job with that degree? Do you have a master degree? You can work with that master degree. Do you have a PhD? You are in a better position to obtain a job. You know why I'm talking about this? Because I know people and they are existing everywhere, regardless of those who I know. They go to school to influence the society and the society and their community. Like I know people, they have gone to school and they have forgotten after the school they have to work. They study degree, masters, PhD. At the end of the day, they start criticizing the government of not offering them jobs. That is one of the most important things that you have to know in your 20 and in your 30. You have to know that I go to school to work, even if it is a high school or primary school or university degree, I can get access to any job. You have to know that. I know people, they go to school just to, I have this, I have that, I have that. But at the end of the day, what would you do with it? Nothing. Know that you go to school to work regardless of the degree or certificate that you have. You can work in whatsoever company. Yeah, even if you are doing any type of job, but you go to school to work. Is it to create your own job? Is it to be self-employed? Is it to be this? You have to go to school to work. Use the knowledge that you obtain from school wisely and implement it on the ground and come with something that can enable you to work. And also in your 30s and your 20s, you have to know that you were born alone and you will die alone. Like in your 20s and your 30s, you have to know that I was born alone and I am going to die alone. Like your life is about you. Even if you die, there is no one who will be hoping to be grave with you. There is no one who wants to go to your grave with you. No one, even if they love you to the point that you don't even imagine, there is no one who is going to be satisfied with the fact that he or she wants to go in the ground with you. No one. This is to tell you in your 20s and your 30s, you have to know your life is about you. If you want to help others, help them. But prioritize yourself. Be the priority in your life. You get my point? Yeah, it is very interesting. And in your 30 and your 20s, you have to know the type of relationship that you want, especially romantic relationship. In your late 20s and your early in your late 20s and you are 30, you have to know I can engage with this type of girl, I can deal with this type of woman, I can put this type of man, I can deal with this type of man, I can deal with this type of man. Like in your late 20s and 30s, you have to know the type of man that you can survive with, and the man has to know the type of woman that he can survive with, like the type of woman that a man can engage and the type of woman that and the type of or man that a woman can say yes to. Yeah, you have to know I can deal with this. I can deal with sanguine. I can deal with choleric personality. I can deal with this personality trait, but I cannot deal with this one. You have to know yourself and know the type of person that you can work with or you can function with without any problem. Yeah, and in your 20s and your 30s, it is still under relationship. You have to know that you don't force someone to love you. You don't buy love with money. If someone is not for you, he or she is not going to be for you. You get my point? Like, he or she is not going to be for you. You have to be aware of that, and you have to know that you cannot buy love with money. You cannot use money to buy love, and you cannot force someone to be with you as a man or a woman. You have to know all these things in your 20s and your 30s, especially your late 20s and your 30s. You have to know that money is very important in a relationship, but do not use your money to seduce your wife, your future wife, or as a woman, do not use money to overcome or overtake over your future husband, because in long term it is not going to help. It is not going to help because money comes and go. You people might get married today, the money disappear. You are going to see the true color of the man, or the man would see the true color of the woman. Yeah, I hope you like this video and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hoping to see you soon for another great